We are looking at Hogback Mountain from Mount Marshall on the Appalachian Trail in Shenandoah National Park. This is part 2 of my 3-day backpacking trip in Shenandoah National Park. If you've not seen part 1, I recommend you watch that video first. I'll put a link above. Good morning, it's December 28th. We are here at a campsite just off the Mount Major Trail. I didn't really see anybody here last night. So right now I'm mostly packed up inside the tent. I'm gonna go get my bear bag, cook up a little bit of breakfast, and finish putting away the camp so I can get out and enjoy the great Shenandoah backcountry. All right, you can see here I've used the PCT bear hang. The bear can slash at the cord all they want, but they're not gonna get the bag down. And it's more than 6 feet out from the limb of that tree, and it's down 6 feet, so the bear can't reach it. Right there. Boom, it drops down like that. Take my oatmeal out of their bags, Quaker bags, and I put them in a freezer bag, Ziploc. Doesn't have to be Ziploc. That just keeps the material in there pretty well. And it's got a flat bottom, and I just pour my water in there. The thing about oatmeal is you can't unpour water, so make sure you don't pour too much. Pots can be hot, so use a rag or a buff or something to hold the pot when you're getting the water off the stove. Next, we have water left over for coffee. I have imported from Thailand 3-in-1 super rich coffee. Tastes great. These my wife gets from me from Thailand. They're awesome. Last night I had an Alpine Fare 3-cheese chicken and pasta. So I definitely would recommend the Alpine pasta. This morning I got up around 8 o'clock, a little before 8, did some filming, did all my camp chores, packed up and got out around 10 o'clock. And now we're continuing south on the Mount Marshall Road here for a couple miles, I believe, and then we're going to hit the Bluff Trail. The Bluff Trail is going to bring us up to the AT, at which point we'll start heading north again. And that'll be the farthest point of our loop. According to my plans, we have roughly 9 miles to do today. As we travel south on Mount Marshall Road here, we're getting a great view of the peak. Believe it or not, that's the actual name of that mountain. With the sun shining on me right now and no wind, it literally feels warm here. It feels like a spring day, despite the fact that it's December 28th. Reached the junction of the Bluff Trail here on our left. We just came off the Mount Marshall Trail. We're going to follow the Bluff Trail to Gravel Springs. Probably have some lunch there. 3.9 miles. You might be able to tell that we're on the Bluff Trail now. The trail is rocky and steep. Of course, it's warmed up a bit too. It's like 55 degrees. Definitely feels like spring right now. So I'll probably be taking off some more layers here pretty soon. Looks like the bluff has leveled off here. I just checked out the topo map, and the Bluff Trail from here up to the AT is going to be generally gradual uphill. Till we get to the AT. Then we start heading south on the AT. We're going to climb to the top of a mountain whose name escapes me. All right, we are at the junction of the Bluff Trail and Big Devil's Stairs. The Big Devil's Stairs heads off to the left here, and that goes downhill. Unfortunately, it stops at 1.4 miles and you have to come back uphill. Reach the junction with the Harris Hollow Trail. The Bluff Trail continues on our right. Harris Hollow leads outside the park boundary. About a half a mile from the Skyline Drive, and probably closer than that to the Appalachian Mountain Club Gravel Springs Shelter. To the right is the Bluff Trail, but we're going to follow this trail for 1/10 of a mile to get to Gravel Springs Shelter. We're here at the Gravel Springs hut where we have all the modern conveniences. I stopped, got some water from the spring, processed it, had something to eat for lunch, used the privy, and now I got about 3 miles to hike to our final campsite for tonight, which is somewhere between North Mount Marshall and Hog Wallow Flats. So it's about 2 o'clock, maybe a little after that, and it's time to get going. See if we can get there early enough to set up before it's dark. Just finished coming up the Blue Trail, which is the connector to the Gravel Springs hut. We're on the AT, looking towards the sun here a little bit. That's going south. We are heading north. As soon as we get up here, starting to hear the wind. All right, looks like we're coming to Skyline Drive here. Haven't seen any cars. My guess is it's still closed down, but it's been a warm one. The trail's a little soft, especially where there was frost.
Mount Marshall is named for Thurgood Marshall, the first African American to serve on the United States Supreme Court. Marshall was appointed to the court by President John F. Kennedy, where he served from 1961 to 1991.
All right, we're almost at the top of South Mount Marshall, and it looks like there's a side trail that takes us out to that overlook. So we'll go check that out in a minute. Looking back at Hogback Mountain, which is 3,644 feet in elevation. All right, got rid of the pack. Just a very short trail to the, you can see the trail back there. You see my pack is sitting right there on the AT. My plan here is to not have the big pack pushing me over when I'm coming out here to check out this view. Wow. I have to admit I was feeling a little tired and just wanting to get back to the campsite, but that view from South Marshall Cliff was just awesome. South Marshall's got yet another view to give. Summit of South Mount Marshall, 3,212 feet. I'm guessing the summit's right over there, but anyways, the next mountain, you can't see too well through the trees, it's North Mount Marshall. We're just about back to the Skyline Drive here. Down there's the Skyline Drive. The next mountain is Mount Marshall, or North Mount Marshall. All right, we're climbing up North Mount Marshall. All right, we've got another switchback here. Looks like we're not going straight up that thing yet. In the foreground is South Marshall, and in the background is Hogback. This might be the last view from Mount Marshall. I'm thinking that's Compton over there. As you can see, we're quickly losing daylight. All packed up. This was camp last night. I didn't have a fire, but I sat over there in the log. That's where we had the tent. We got about 7 miles to hike out. It was cold last night. It went down into the high 20s. Water bottles were freezing. I had to take what little water I had, heat it up, and pour it back in the water bottle. So my water bottle's stuffed in the sack, except for the one on my shoulder. I'm hoping there'll be enough motion to keep it from freezing. I'm gonna keep moving this morning. I'm gonna put the camera down. I'll talk more to you later on when I get warmed up. Through the woods here we can see the peak, which is a mountain we came close to the day, and over here just above the Skyline Drive is Mount Marshall, North Mount Marshall. We camped between here and there. We're about 1.5 miles into this morning's hike. Got another 5.5, 6 to go. All right, well, definitely warming up here. We're on our way to Jenkins Gap now, which will be where we left the AT when we started this loop. Through a pretty exposed area. The wind was howling and it was cold, but we're coming into Jenkins Gap here now. I can see Skyline Drive below, way below me to my right, and Mount Compton straight ahead over there. So that'll be our next destination. We're at the summit, or almost the summit of Compton here. We were here yesterday. Just took a quick break, saw 4 people and a dog. Should be about 3 miles back to the car and mostly downhill. No strenuous climbs. Feeling pretty good today, considering the 20 miles I hiked the 2 previous days combined. But this is definitely a strenuous hike. It's listed as such for a reason. There was very little water from gravel springs here, so if you are doing this loop, you got to grab your water. I'm rationing it right now. It's been a really cool experience being out here on the Appalachian Trail and being here in Shenandoah National Park. And backpacking, really have to be self-sufficient out here. The views are phenomenal. Kudos to Peak Finder. I downloaded that app recently and it was spot on. It told me every peak I was looking at. So if you ever want to spend a couple dollars on a good app for your phone, that's the one. Time for the micro spikes. The trail is very icy here coming down the backside of Compton Mountain, Compton Peak. Still no traffic on Skyline Drive.